And let me just tell you something too. I don't know where you are in life or what you've done, but you're never too far gone. You're not. I remember for me, there was a day, I was jumping on a plane, and I don't know how you grew up. For me, I grew up in a ministry that was amazing, but it was led by an evangelist, a guy that was really good at telling people about Jesus socially, and he would do it all the time. Anytime he walked up to people, he would just start talking to them about Jesus anywhere. And so the way he led the ministry was, you just go do that. You just talk to people about Jesus. So when I joined the ministry, it was like you'd walk into bars and just with a little tract and be like, hey, have you met Jesus? And him, it always worked. And I knew guys like that. I remember going to a train stop with a guy that walked up to someone and was like, hey man, I was reading this Bible verse the other day, and he read it and he's like, what do you think about that? And the guy was like, I think I needed that. I think God's coming to me right now. The guy started crying and I was like, and then I was like, hey man, sorry man. No, just like, I couldn't get the tone right. I was bad at it. But the way this leader would do it, he's like, when you sit on a plane, whoever you sit next to, that's God ordaining that you would share Jesus with them. Yeah, it sounds neat. It was actually very stressful for an introvert. So I hated planes. And people that worked on planes thought, oh, he's just nervous about flying. Don't worry, it's very safe. I'm not worried about the plane. I'm worried about the evangelism. Like, I can't handle it socially, you know? So I hated it. So I remember I was on this plane, and plane's filling up, and the seat next to me is not. And so I was just like, thank you, Lord. Yes. And plane's almost done, and I'm like, I'm gonna get a free ride. I get to just sort of go internal. And right towards the end, this dude gets on the plane, and he's so big, like his shoulders can't fit this way through the, where the luggage goes. So he has to turn sideways. Like, sorry, buddy, my muscles are too big. And he's got a bone hook necklace, and he's drinking out of a gallon jug. No cup is sufficient. You just gotta, and he walks in, and he's got like scars on his face. And he was like, hey man, I think that's my seat. I'm like, yeah, of course it is. So he sits down, and I was just like, oh God, what am I gonna do? And so I'm praying for the courage to talk to this guy, and literally I'm like, Lord, help me, and I'm doing all that, and then I turn and look, and he's just looking at me. And he goes, what do you do? And at the time I said, I'm a youth pastor. I tell young people about Jesus. I said, what do you do? He said, I teach Brazilian jiu-jitsu to police officers. I was like, that sounds about right. He said, and I tell my story. I was like, well, lay it on me. He said, you remember Nancy Kerrigan? I'm thinking in my mind, of course I remember Nancy Kerrigan. Ice skater in the Olympics, shooing for the gold, competing against Tanya Harding. So Tanya hired a hitman, hit her in the knee with a club, take her out in competition. Like, of course I remember Nancy Harding. I don't say all that. He says, you know Nancy Harding? I'm like, yeah, of course I know Nancy Harding. He goes, yeah, I clubbed her. I was like, oh, okay. Okay. He said, yeah, I went to jail for that. I was like, tough but fair. And he said, yeah, you think you're tough till you land in jail. He said, and I started to get acclimated to how small a person I really am. And he said, there in that moment, somebody came to me. Somebody visited me in prison and sat with me and told me the grace of God could even forgive me. Me, the laughingstock of America. Me, the criminal of America. And he said, and I believed it. And God saved me. And so now I teach police officers to fund me speaking anywhere to anybody. I don't charge anything. I just tell them about the grace of a God who could save even me. And that's what he does.